So today I have this French Napoleon lll 19th century brass tortoiseshell and blackened pearwood cabinet. Dates from round about 1850 and it is in such a sad condition. The brass is falling off, it's just covered in mould, sellotape, and a lot of the brass is missing as well. And it's quite sad to see such a majestic piece of furniture in such a terrible condition. And the sides, the brass strips are missing, and there's been multiple repairs over the years. And this side has got a big split in the side. Missing brass again, which unfortunately a lot of the brass is missing. But we're going to give it a go and see if we can restore it, bring it back to its former glory. Now inside the cabinet we have these bolt screws in the top and bottom. Now they are attached in the top and the bottom, but I can see some glue in the top there as well, so I think the top might have been glued on. And some twisted brass that they've just thrown in, which is where hopefully we can straighten it out and use some of that. And those bolts that hold the bottom and the top on. And I've just got a little center punch here just to turn them. And then do them by hand. We have to take the top or the bottom off so we can get the door out. If we lift the bottom or the top off, we can just lift the door out, which we'll show you. And these are 170-year-old screws. And the ones in the bottom. And we're just going to lift the bottom up and we're just going to pull the door out. And then we will lift the top of the cabinet off the base. Fortunately, it's not been glued in. Even the base is beautiful just on its own. Now, as I'm looking at the front of this cabinet, I've just seen the bottom of it has been glued on, and it's a nasty looking repair. So the hinges have broke on this cabinet, the top and the bottom have broken, and somebody has glued this stretcher bar back on the bottom, and they've totally glued it out of alignment, and that is where a brass strip needs to go, and there's like a big cliff there. And there's no way I'm going to be able to get a piece of brass strip in there. So this bottom stretcher, the bar at the bottom has got to come off, and then we're going to try and move that bar up a little bit so we can groove a channel out to put the brass in. Now this was just hanging in there literally, We're lucky we've still got some of the brass. But this is our main concern at the moment. As you can see, there is quite a misalignment there, and also the tortoiseshell has swollen up as well. So if I just put down 3 utility blades, that is about the height that we are going to need to bring this bottom bar up to, so we can have a chance of getting some brass inlay in the bottom of the panel. You can see where the corner was broken off, and it's also broken off on the top as well. And all the repairs and colours, and it's just been so neglected. And at this end it's like a ski ramp. There's a big slope. They've got it so much out of alignment, and then all the orcas and colours they've tried to cover up it over the years. I mean, that repair could have been done 100 years ago. Now this motif here looks like it got some sort of glue underneath it. It wouldn't be the first time that these have been glued on. There are like 2 brass pins there, and we're just going to try and prise the motif up just enough so we can get the pincers on and pull out that pin. And now we can get our pincers on there. And there she comes. Now I have masked off the area where we're going to be injecting some hot water. This is going to take a few hours to get this bottom section off. And we just keep coming back every 10 minutes, and we just keep putting hot water into the crack. And we're just going to try and melt if there's any hide glue in there. And we'll keep our masking tape dry as well. We just don't want any water getting into the tortoiseshell and the brass. I would say the door just broke off, and they just needed to get it back together so they could use it, and that's where the brass has gone missing, because it's along the join there. Now I'm just sliding a utility blade into the crack, and by moving the utility blade up and down we can cut any of the hard glue that's in the crack. And we're just starting to add a little bit of pressure as well, so we can start opening up the other end. Back in again with hot water. And now with a bit of pressure, we're just cutting away the glue, and then we'll put some more water in next to the blade again. And like I say, this has taken about 2.5 hours so far. And you see that red sort of blood colour? That is the blotting paper that they put underneath the tortoiseshell. It's like a red blotting paper. So So we have to be careful that we don't add too much water and we start losing that colour. And there's some hard epoxy there as well. That's why this end of the repair is held more than the other end. So we're just going to cut away now with our blade, cut through all that hard glue. And we're getting close now. And we've got the bottom bar off with all the glue still on there. So hot water on the bottom, and we'll put hot water on the strip. Again, this will take about an hour. We're just going to keep dissolving that glue until we get a nice surface that we can re-glue the bar back on. And while we're here, we'll clean up these channels as well that are just full of epoxy and hide glue. There's all sorts of glue in there. I'm just using a scalpel to pick through any of the hard glue, and then with some hot water we can just get down to the hide glue, the original hide glue at the bottom there. Just roughly cleaning them out. We'll have to do more when we make our brass strips that we're going to have to put in there. So all this section is missing. We haven't got any of the brass for it. And there's like 6 pieces there that we're gonna have to cut and try and get them in there. And back to the bar again. Again, we've just been soaking this in water for about an hour, and we just keep scraping off that glue. There's so much glue on there. And when we glue our section back on, we're going to lift it up slightly. So if we just raise this up, we can get the level the same as where the tortoiseshell is, and then we can get a piece of brass in. Well, that's the plan anyway. I'm using Tight Bond hide glue because it does give me that window extra time. It doesn't go off as quick. It's a bit more expensive, but it's a great product for this kind of work. And then we're just going to line up the area where we've got to raise that timber up, and we'll leave it for 24 hours when we've clamped it. And we're going to put a lot of pressure here, just on the angle, just to try and pull that down as well. And we'll put another clamp on there, a stronger clamp, once this glue starts to go off. And there we've got it. So we'll just leave that now. Plenty of pressure down there. And it's the next morning, and we'll undo our clamps and we'll have a look and see if we've got somewhere where we can make a channel to put in that bottom piece of brass. And I can see now that we've definitely got a chance now of getting some brass in there. It's sitting up a lot higher. And yeah, that's looking good. But we've got all this as well. And all this sellotape. I mean, how long's that been on there for? And all the halo around the medallion. The brass halo is all missing. It's in 4 pieces, but we've only got 1 piece, so we have to make 3 pieces for the halo around the medallion in the center. So we're just going to put a little bit of heat onto that, what we think is sellotape. So I'd say that it's been springing up, and they've just said, well, we'll just stick it down with some sellotape and it'll be fine. And they've put a lot of sellotape on. And the strip has got that many bends in it. I would say there's been quite a few attempts to glue this back in place, and the brass on the other side is just missing. Over the years it's got misplaced, and it's been a long time since this cabinet has been glowing. And there we go, we're just going to slightly, bit of pressure and just pull that last end bit up. Where do we start? Again, get the rest of this sellotape off. I'll just use a little bit of alcohol just to soften up that glue. We've made quite a mess. Now the brass halo that goes around the medallion in the center, I'm just adding some hot water into the channel, and we're just going to dissolve any of the hide glue that is left. There is also some epoxy glue as well. The dark patches are different glue where they try to glue down the repair. And again, this is going to take a while to dissolve the glue. We're just going to be patient and pick away at it. We've got to get a nice clean channel so we can glue our new brass in there. And this is really hard, the epoxy at the bottom there. Like concrete, it's that hard. And this little piece of scroll work with the leaves on it, we're just going to gently prise this out, and we don't want to add any heat or any water if we can. We're just going to try and just prise that out. And then we will clean all the old glue, flatten it down, and we'll glue that back in place. And that's that little piece out. And there is quite a few more loose ones on the medallion on the front. Again, we've got some hard glue here. Epoxy glue is just the worst enemy for these kinds of pieces of furniture. It's just, you can't add any thinners or anything because you don't want anything to lift or discolor. Tortoiseshell is like a brown and tan colour, and the only reason that it's red is that they put a sheet of blotting paper underneath the tortoiseshell, and that gives that red colour. Finally getting that hard lump of araldite off. Just a bit more. And she's starting to look nice and clean now. Now this is going to be a time-consuming restoration. There will be a few episodes. Okay, I'm just softening up that glue with hot water, picking any of the hard glue out with a scalpel and just keeping it dry at the same time so we don't get any water under that tortoiseshell. So the next episode we will be gluing in some of our patches, some of our strips, and we'll just get some high glue under any areas of the tortoiseshell here that have popped up, and we'll just hold that down with my thumb for about 5 minutes, just enough to hold till the glue gets a bond. So that's just about it for the first episode. If you want to follow along, like, subscribe, throw us comments, and you'll get a notification when the next video is up, which won't be too far away because we are well into this restoration now. And that's just about it. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.